There is a pretense, and there is the pretense behind pretense. Through the ages of the groping of man from the dark chaos of his beginnings, when, shrouded by ignorance of his ignorance, he stared at a sky devoid yet even of mystery, and clawed himself awkwardly and for reasons unknown to stand unsteadily on his two back feet. To this point in time, when falsely secure in the perennial delusion of having reached the point of culmination beyond which stretches the smooth, free-coasting slope to perfection of knowledge, perfection of behavior, perfection of environment, he balances upright with such apparent ease as to be able to call his front paws hands. Much has been gained and lost. Gained experience, know-how, intellectual dexterity, lost simplicity, lost the understanding beneath understanding, lost the ability to pretend without pretending not to pretend. Ugh. God's truth. Oof. A man with a wooden leg was walking down the road on his hands when he met a man with a wooden arm walking on his feet. "Tell me," said the first man, "why do you walk like that?" "Well," said the second, "if I walked on the other, it might drop off." An Englishman, an Irishman, and a poltergeist each bet the other that they couldn't do what the other could do. So they all went away, and 3 days later they came back. "Well," said the Englishman. "It's no good," said the Irishman. "The devil or I could get me hat off." "You're lucky," said the poltergeist. "The devil I could." A man walked into a doctor's surgery carrying an enormous plate of jellied eels. "Look here," said the receptionist. "You can't bring animals in here." "Why not?" said the man. "I've got them on a leash."
Is this relevant?
"Just warming them up." Good audience tonight. They're with us, laughing like coffins. A one-eyed apothecary was driving a herd of Bactrian camel down
You do
Shaftesbury Ave.
realize we have rather a lot to get through?
Camels?
When a job's to be done, I believe in getting down to do it. State your objectives, define your terms of reference, marshal the facts, and draw the logical conclusions. This kind of behavior will get us nowhere.
As the actress said to the mission.
Where's Rudge? Late. He was late last night. We were scheduled to begin 5 minutes ago.
Oh, we have.
What?
I've started off already. He's not putting himself in for another 10 minutes.
Every night, the same excuse.
You say that every night.
You say that every night.
And you say
I'm not going to argue the point. I have a wife waiting for me. I trust this is realized.
every night. You say.
Every night, the same circular dialogue. Round and round we go. Do you know what it's like? Do you know what it's like?
It is like waiting.
It's like waiting. No, waiting suggests merely being in it up to the knees like a shrimp catcher. I'm in it up to the armpits.
Round and round.
Some nightmare municipal swimming bath, up to the armpits in.
Not water.
Not water. Water's clean, water you can see through. Water rubs off, but mud. A kind of man-made imitation of a primeval ooze. Meanwhile, my wife waits. We can't go to the cinema together. We can't watch television together. What does he expect to come out of this nightly rigmarole? Does he think that one night things will be different? Doesn't he realize that it's always the same, that it can't be otherwise?
Do you want to roll?
For the umpteenth time, no. Listen, you're a reasonable young man. No, you're not. But at least you're uncommitted. Tell me, Am I wrong? Can it be otherwise? Every night I ask the same question. Every night he lights that same damn cigarette and gives me no answer. The same cigarette, mark you, I'll swear to it. The same shape, like a dog's hind leg, with the same strand of cheap tobacco dangling at the end. Watch the smoke come through his nose. If he knew the Freudian implications behind that trick, he'd think twice before doing it. Not that he could help himself, he'd do it anyway. You don't understand how it could all be the same cigarette. It's simple, you see, it isn't really a cigarette at all. It's the essence of cigarette. The artist's impression of cigarette. It isn't really there, you only think it is. And if you can think it's there today, you can think it's there tomorrow. It's like man, corruptible but recurrent. Just as a solid brass ashtray could rise of its own accord into the air if all of its atoms happened to be moving in the same direction at the same time. So too, if everyone stopped thinking cigarette existed, it no longer would. Don't bother trying. If there were a point, of course, this would all be decided. Someone released me from my bondage.
No answer.
The beginning is always the worst, the warming up period. Later one gets drawn into it in spite of oneself. One even imagines that one is in control. Think of a steel ball rolling down a hill. Faster and faster it goes until its speed is enormous. Look at me, thinks the ball. I'm going as fast as I can. Shall I try to go faster still? Shall I change direction? Shall I stop suddenly halfway down? I could, if I wanted to. Maybe in a moment I shall. It forgets gravity, you see, this foolish ball. It forgets that even its mind is the mind of gravity. That's how it'll be when it's all over. When we've got up speed, the juggernaut will take over and the mahout will squat on top.
Mahouts are for elephants.
And imagine some mystical power is being transmitted through his bottom and through the soles of his feet to drive the monster along.
Until that time?
Until that happy time, I am a little god, grade 2. I foresee every twist and turn of this sorry spectacle and can't do a thing about it.
He's on form tonight. It's his indigestion.
Well, have you read out that info?
Oh, that is a right one. Here. Look at this.
I've seen it.
You have to look.
I said, I've seen it.
That was yesterday. Here, look. This one. There.
I've seen it. It's very droll.
That's that done? You were saying?
Nothing.
My mistake.
I was asking if you read out that introduction of his yet?
Some of it.
Finish it then. It has to come sometime.
There is a pretense. And there is the pretense.
You don't have to start at the beginning again.
Trouble is, it's more or less all one lump. Ages of grumping of man, dark chaos, I know it's a rigorous status, God, board, mystery, clawed up, the reason, no stand, solid, cheap, back, what?
What?
I thought you said something. Environment of perfection. Behavior of perfection. Knowledge of perfection. Ultimate, the too slow, coasting, very smooth, the only stretches which beyond culmination of point, the reached having his, of delusion mistaken as perennial, the insecure falsely when time in point, this too. How was that?
How was what?
I did the chunk backwards. I don't know if it's an improvement. That would be a touch, you know, to do the whole thing backwards from end to beginning. We'd all come in backwards, say goodbye, we'd all go out backwards, saying hello. Sort of symbolic.
Of what?
Does it have to be of something? Then, when I get to saying that last speech backwards, I'd be saying it forwards. Interesting. My dearest Beth, however can I thank you for last Tuesday night? I've lost the last page. Every night I lose the last page. Sometimes I wonder if there even is a last page. When he was stopped by policemen, wanting to know what they was called. Well, said the one-eyed apothecary, the one with one hump is called Ahmed. The one with two humps is called Humphrey. And the other one's called Fred. Why Fred, asked the policeman. I don't know, said the one-eyed apothecary. It was his mother's choice.
Excuse me, sir. I'm standing in.
You're standing in my light.
No, I mean I'm standing in for the other girl.
What other girl?
The one who usually shows up.
You're the one who usually shows up.
No, that's my sister.
Do you ever feel you've been here before?
Lizzie.
Who's Lizzie?
My sister.
You're very much alike.
Not in temperament, we're not. You see, Lizzie's the quiet one.
And what are you?
I'm more sort of taciturn.
All right. What is your name?
Lizzie.
But you said...
That's right, we're both Lizzie. We're identical twins.
Last night was the same story, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. That would have been Lizzie filling in for me. We take it in turns. I know you don't believe me. Everyone thinks there's only one of us, including our most intimate friends. Even Lizzie being the quiet one and me being taciturn doesn't help. Everyone just thinks I'm schizophrenic. It was the same way with our parents.
What was?
Pretending like there was only one of us. It's like the Archbishop of Canterbury says, people just can't face up to reality. We just bury our heads in the sand. That's why I'm so thin. Really, I'm naturally plump. I just never had a chance. If you weren't first at the table, you'd have it. Well, when do we start? Said, when do we...
We've started.
Oh. What do I do then?
What you are doing.
But I'm not doing anything.
Haven't you got the message?
Huh?
My dear child, you must be more simple than you look.
Here, what's with him?
Do you really think you can exist without doing anything? Can you really be that simple?
I don't like this guy.
Did you see me lying there? Did you think I was lying there doing
I don't know
nothing?
what...
Well, try it yourself then. Lie there. Try to do nothing.
What do you take me for?
We're hemmed in, you see. We're in the arena. If you think you can stay here and do nothing, you have, as this fellow would say, another thing coming.
I'm not staying if it gets unpleasant.
You'll stay until you're written out, my girl.
Hey, it's all right. The big rape scene is not till near yet.
Big what?
But you and him.
Lizzie didn't tell me nothing about that.
Well, she wouldn't, would she? I mean, being the quiet one?
Here, I'm getting out. Why aren't I going? Oh.
Never fear, I'm not the rapacious type.
No?
Famous last words.
Not to say if I weren't written rapacious, I shouldn't have a shot at it.
Oh, sit down, my dear. My name is Nap, and his name is Dust. That's three of us established, and no mean feat, say what you will, considering nothing has happened yet.
The significance of all this will not have been...
Dustmate,
What?
how long could you make a pause?
A what?
A pause! A silence! Nothing happening.
It depends on the upholstery.
How?
Well, the blood has to circulate, doesn't it?
Yes, but
Well,
how long?
circulation is restricted. Various disorders ensue. Cramps, loss of sensation leading to atrophy. And if there happens to be an opened wound, gangrene.
Do you mind?
Yes, but how
Look, they have to fidget, don't they? They have to be able to shift their bottoms on the seats. Only we must allow them to do it without their knowing it. Why do you think they're made to laugh? To show how funny the world is? No. Even they know the world's not funny. It isn't even tragic. No. We enable them to shift their bottoms on the seats without their knowing it.
Yes,
Because
but how?
if they do know it, they realize what a fraud it all is. Here we sit, moving our bottoms about, while they on stage do nothing. Pauses indeed. They should be watching us.
Yes, but
Which
how?
of course we should. At least they're real within their limits. What are we but the fancy dresses for someone else's imaginings?
If you sat them on cushions of air.
The question's hypothetical.
I suppose so.
The distinction is therefore not between the essential and the existential as modes of being, but as methods of analysis. of things taken a priori as things in themselves, as things which exist aside from the way in which they are viewed.
What's he talking about?
It's running, the ball's beginning to roll.
What ball?
I'm beginning to feel the statistics coursing through my veins. The wind is under my wings. Do you know what I feel like? A gigantic airliner rumbling down a runway. Ecstasy!
Put yourself to full throttle, mate.
The air is whistling through my struts.
Struts?
In a moment I shall be flying free. I shall imagine I am in control.
Wheels are leaving the ground. Push! Push!
I'm airborne!
Retract your undercart! There he goes!
He thinks he's an airplane?
I think I'm... Who are we trying to fool? Rudge! Damn the man, he really is late.
You said that yesterday.
Tonight I mean
You
it.
said that yesterday!
Rudge! I have to run down again in a minute.
I wish someone would tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Run!
I don't understand any of it.
You should have asked your sister.
I did. She didn't understand it either. Don't worry about nothing, Lizzie. She said, just act natural.
Then why don't you?
What do you take me for?
Rudge! I have to run down and get a minute. I'm finished. You hear me? Finished.
Keep yourself going. Trot around.
In here, I should trot in here. 20 minutes has taken me to reach this pitch. 20 minutes. And what happens? He doesn't show up. He leaves me high and dry, my brain dangling in midair.
You're what?
Oh, I'm not winding myself up again. I can assure you of that.
The show must go on.
Damn the show.
Keep your hair on. It is always like this.
God help me, I'm losing height.
Is he gonna crash?
Think of something dirty.
What good will that
Or
do?
take your mind off it.
Take your eyes off of me.
Say something, ask me something, anything.
On what?
Anything, anything.
Which out.
There's a pause now, I'm done for.
You keep away from me.
I've got to do something.
I'll scream.
Well, are we ready?
He asks, are we ready? I suppose you realize we've been here 20 minutes?
All right, get yourself sorted. Where's the first slip? What the devil you're doing mid off? Come on, square leg of it square. I'll open the bowling. How's the wicket?
Sticky. Play!
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we crave...
No ball.
Ladies and gentlemen...
No ball.
What is our purpose here tonight?
Don't ask them, tell them.
The question's rhetorical.
No ball.
Why not?
Rule 15. The bowling of rhetorical questions derived from the four four-letter words, either overarm or underarm, so constitute no ball and set that part mentioned.
But what about the...
Rule 16. Arguing with the umpire.
All right. All the world's a stage. How's that?
I protest. He will be a metaphor.
Not out. Rule 17.
Whose side are you on?
Neutral, mate. Neutral.
Can we get on with it?
Try a goo.
Being brothers in the sense that we stem from the same pre-simian root, carry the same numbers of ribs, vertebrae, etc., organs, appendages, etc., are prone to the same diseases and malfunctions of body and mind, etc., etc., cling in the same way tenaciously and without apparent justification to an existence consisting in essence of nothing but the constant attempt to escape from greater or lesser degree of suffering of body and mind, etc., etc., until finally losing our foothold and falling into the same deathly abyss, etc., etc.
What are you getting at?
I'm sick of this. Can I sit down?
Being, as I say, brothers in the eyes of God, faith, or what have you, the afflictions of one, be they never so grotesque, are at least in potentia the afflictions of all. If a man chooses to spend 40 years immured in a hut in a state of poverty, filth, and isolation, he is in a sense not alone, for we are all that man. Let's but look into this man and we shall see ourselves.
Rubbish.
What?
Over.
I'm not finished yet. Let's but look into the heart of this man and we shall see.
What, man?
Where is he?
Good God, you've lost him now?
He was with me a minute ago.
What happens now?
He'll be here. Have patience.
Patience. Can't you see I'm all wound up?
Excuse me.
Who are you?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm standing in. For Lizzie.
Who's Lizzie?
My sister.
And who are you?
Lizzie's sister.
And your name?
Lizzie.
I like this story. What do you want?
All I want to know is what I am.
You just told me.
No, what I do.
What you're doing, you're finally.
Can we get on?
Without the main character?
She said it would be like this. You can ask till you're blue in the face, Lizzie, and you'll get the same answer. Do what you're doing. How can you do what you're doing when you don't know what you're supposed to be doing?
My dear child.
You stay away from me.
I was about to comfort you.
tell you, I cultivate my males.
She's worse than her sister.
As bad.
Worse.
As bad.
Worse.
Why does it always end up like this?
Beg your pardon?
You see, I'm an optimist. I think every night it'll be different.
I had a friend like that once. 5 years she was married before she gave up hope.
You'd expect at least divine intervention now and again.
It's only natural.
Do I get any help? No, I'm left to scratch against my obsession like a cow against a fence. What does he think he's doing up there?
That's what my friend used to say.
It's all quite impossible.
If only it were. The impossible one can ignore. The improbable's the damnable thing that we butt our heads against. Play the ball, play the ball.
Anyone for tennis?
Things are always beginning to just start happening, and what do we get? A hiatus.
I don't think I feel myself tonight. I think I might have a headache.
Oh, here we go again.
Or maybe a backache. I'll not be dogmatic. Or something in between the two. Let me put it more precisely.
Do.
It's an impression. No, a sensation, a sense. A suffusion on the top of my head, just under the skin, just here. Can you feel it? Do you feel anything?
The top of your head.
Not my experience, you understand, just experience in general. And on top of that, a sensation, an impression, a sense of the whole mass of the earth pulling me towards it on the base of my spine and simultaneously pressing me inexorably from above. Look at this. Now watch.
It's known as gravity.
All the time it goes on. It doesn't let up for a second.
You must publish your findings.
Only they aren't distinct, you must understand. This pull on my spine and the suffusion in my head. I can't tell where one leaves off and the other one begins. I only know that I am being martyred.
Yes, it's all very sad. There's only one small fact I should remind you of. You are the engineer of this once nightly, lopsided little dream world. It's your brains they're gawping at. At least I can blame you for my indigestion, but what of you? You sit there like some fragmentary Hamlet, complaining of a martyrdom you dreamed up out of your own head. Can we get on, you say? Where's the hermit, you say? And who lost him? You. It passes my comprehension. If you want to make yourself feel better, why make yourself ill in the first place?
Well, yes, I agree.
Of course you damned well agree. You make me say something and then you agree with it? Marvelous.
But do you think that torture is any more pleasant for being self-inflicted? Suppose you saw a man busy sticking pins in himself and yelling blue murder. Wouldn't you feel some sympathy?
Frankly, no.
You think because I'm given control, I'm in control. You're old enough to know better.
I'm not going to bandy existentialism with you.
Very well. Stick to your fiction. I'm God. Behold, I tell myself to stand up and up I get. I tell my foot to move forward and away it goes. Behold the omnipotent Rudge. But what is it that makes me stand up? I suppose that doesn't matter. Or who or what this creature is, this me that lifts itself against all the forces of the earth. I suppose that doesn't matter either. You want to know who you are? And what special virtue do you think you possess that you should be granted this knowledge denied to the rest of us?
You leave my virtue out of it.
You want to know who you are? Ha ha.
All I ask
All, precisely, all.
Histrionics will get you nowhere.
As for being in control, try it. That's all I can say. Try doing what you want instead of what you have to, knowing it'll come to the same. You try being God. You run the show.
If you're going to take that attitude, there's nothing more to be said.
I'm sorry, please, take the lead.
I'm not dreaming that you're in control.
You blew it up.
I know of no article in common law which grants the inflator of a mattress automatic settler's rights.
There's no need to be pompous.
There's every need. I'm a pompous character. I'm sorry if it offends you.
It's no skin off my nose, take the bed.
I don't want it.
You were crawling towards it.
So were you. I fancy you were a fraction ahead of me.
I think not.
Ooh, let me give you a tip, Lizzie Mate. If you're going to make this job, if you're going to make this job your career, you want to cultivate the snatched kitten.
The what?
2 feet 4 7/8 of the quick doss down with your eyes open. They all do it.
You mean sleep?
How do you think we all keep going? They're at it now. Ah, that's the skill of it! Looks just like real, don't it? Years of practice that's taken.
Do you mean to say?
Ah, it's the reflexes, you see. You go to sleep, but you keep your reflexes awake. Otherwise, you would fall asleep and you'd miss your cue. You'd close your eyes.
What if I stuck a pin in one of them?
Oh, he'd yell. Reflex action. It wouldn't hurt him, though. He'd only act as if it did. He'd even bleed. Reflex action. Try it if you like.
Oh, I never knew about that.
You don't learn everything in Rada, you see. I've been close, go through a whole evening in a state of complete somnambulation and no one knows. Ask him if he's asleep.
But he's asleep.
You missed the point! Ask him.
You asleep?
My dear child, I'm an insomniac.
You see? Perfect reflexes!
But how can you tell?
You can't! There's no way.
Are you asleep?
Sometimes.
I mean, right now.
Well now, if I was asleep, I would say I was awake. Wouldn't I?
I suppose.
Whereas, if I was awake, being the sort of fellow I am, I'd probably say that I was asleep. So as to keep you, wouldn't I?
So, what are you?
Asleep.
That's okay then, I don't want to be talking to no zombie.
On the other hand, it's not unlikely that my reflexes kick after me might perform the double love.
I don't get it.
They might say that I was asleep, so that you would think that I was awake and trying to get you
So, what are you?
awake.
You just say.
I was kidding you if you don't want to take any notice of me. 73.3 centimeters.
What's that in inches?
2 feet 4 and 7/8.
It's a tie. Do you want to toss for it?
We'll play it out tomorrow.
Sorry I'm late, I forgot my beard.
Didn't I tell you to take particular care of that beard?
I only took it off to go to the bathroom. Can't put a thing down.
Let's get on with it.
Are we really beginning?
Elizabeth, look into the heart of this man.
Oh! Someone's been on my bed again.
Does it matter? And do put your beard on.
I'm just a bit particular. That's all. I don't like when people use my bed. I can always tell. There's an atmosphere.
Oh, come, come.
A bed to me is a very personal thing. It partakes of one's personality.
Never thought of it like that.
Oh, you should try playing the hermit, that's all. It's a difficult enough part as it is. In fact, it's not even a part. It's just a hole in the play that I have to sit in while you lot shovel earth in on me. The earth being, of course, your own ideas of what sort of character I
We get
am.
the metaphor.
You bury me alive. Night after night I come here, having sweated myself to a nervous wreck trying to get the feel for the part. I'm a hermit, I tell myself. I haven't spoken to anyone in ages. I'm a creature completely shut in upon itself. And what do I find? Some loafer's been on my bed again. It reeks of an alien personality, night after night.
We all know you're doing a fine job of work.
Can we get on with it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Lady here has a question.
it's not time for questions.
Ask her, go on.
No, you.
He wants to know, she wants to know rather, why you have to take your beard off to go to the bathroom.
You mind your business and I'll mind mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to examine as best we can the life of this man.
Why?
It's a good question.
It may be asked, why waste our valuable time examining one whose life is not only obscure, but for all practical
In which
purposes,
there are no other.
completely useless?
That has yet to be proven.
And who is moreover dead.
Good question.
But we don't stop for an answer.
Well,
Well, if I may quote from Shakespeare.
Let's keep it original.
It may be said, not without verity, that we are not so much examining the man nor even the reason behind the man, but rather the reason for the discussion of the reason of the man. There's pretense, and there's pretense behind
But
pretense.
we've done that.
allow me. Alexander James Mason, the hermit of Great Canfield.
Personified by this gentleman both as a young man and by a miraculous transformation before your very eyes as an old man.
Lived out his measly life.
Objection.
Sustained.
As you wish.
Of
Born the 7th of June, 1857, in the village of Great Canfield in the county of Essex. Name of mother, Jane, née Eastwood, aged 35. Personality, pliant, unassuming, anxious to please. Name of father, Richard, aged 47. Lately sergeant to the 7th Regiment in Foot after meticulous service to the Queen in India and elsewhere. Personality, domineering, forceful. Date of marriage, November 1856. Duration of marriage until birth of subject, 7 months. Probable cause of birth of subject is deduced from the foregoing, accident.
No, objection.
Oh, it's not your fault, mate. Don't worry.
Of course it isn't. Some of my best friends are accidents. It doesn't show, you know.
Let's be broad-minded.
The thing is not to take it to heart.
We're all the same under the skin.
That's my motto. Unless you're black, of course.
Or brown.
Or Jewish.
Or Asian.
Or communist.
Or queer.
Or one-eyed.
No, no, I'm not worried about it.
About what?
Dates to remember. 1859, birth of brother Thomas. 1890, death of father. 1910, death of mother. 1942, death of Alexander James Mason. Fact of interest with regard to the life of the subject. In 1906, at the age of 48, he sold his cottage, moved into the fields beyond the village, and there built himself a hut and took up solitary residence. He surrounded it with bushes, bramble hedges, hives of wild bees, and barbed wire, and there he took up residence, but his brother Thomas left food on the gate every morning. Alexander James Mason was not seen until 36 years later, at the age of 84, feet first and in a dead state.
Go on.
What more do you want?
His story?
It's not really very interesting.
The point is he existed beneath an empty sky.
No, what about his diary?
Diary?
Yeah, he wrote a diary.
You're thinking of someone else.
No, no, he wrote
There was
a...
some semi-illiterate scribbling.
Scribbling.
It's no importance.
They're the key to his character. What else can we go on if no one ever saw him?
That's a slight exaggeration.
What?
Well, there was some communication from time to time.
With this person or that person?
No, but
They
you
had
said...
to be sure he existed, didn't they?
Yes, but...
Mrs. Sales, for instance.
Who's she?
She was paid to look in on him during his last years. She did from time to time. And then there was the man from the Ministry of Pensions.
I don't understand.
Fanny!
Who?
Fanny Bell.
That is to say, Edith Easter.
Noise.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Her name was Edith Easter, so you called her Fanny Bell.
Why?
You tell us, mate.
Who was Fanny Bell?
Your child love.
Oh, the love of my
The
child.
child love of your manhood.
Such as it was.
It's a sordid story.
Spare us the details.
I don't believe it.
She was 12 when you were 37.
A nymphette, you might say.
She was 16 when you were 41.
Were you a dirty old man?
You used to throw her apples.
Apples.
over the battlements.
Apples, cherries, money wrapped in paper. And she'd leave love letters on the gate.
Asking for more money.
Beautiful friendship.
A love story this is gonna be?
No.
Sweet Fanny Bell in the red dress.
With the promising chest and an eye to the main chance, the money she got out of me.
And then she'd go and romp in the hay with the shepherds.
Spiritual friendships are okay.
While you watched through your telescope.
Un-
Beautiful relationship.
Until she married Noise, or was it Sprague?
And before you could say knife, she'd a figure like a shire horse and a mouth like the pit of hell. Oh, sweet youth, whence hast thou fled?
Where does the fire go when it goes out?
I don't understand.
Who does?
It can't have been like that.
It's irrelevant. They're all dead.
Let us now consider this gentle, saintly old man tending his plot, let us say, or gathering the wild honey, surrounded by wide-eyed, unafraid rabbits like some latter-day St. Francis. But amid the choir of the bees, he hums to himself the 23rd
Are
psalm.
you finished?
I was just trying to help.
Let's get on. Quotations.
Quotations.
Quotation.
Quotations!
Quotations?
Just read what is written on there.
Though I may have the body of a weak and feeble woman, I have the heart and stomach of a king. What is this?
Wrong play. First, the rector and squire of Great Canfield at the time of the hermit.
He was a gentle, lovable old man. He kept his bees, planted his... This color is killing me!
Mrs. Sales?
Who, me?
Go on.
I sort of figured it must be me, being the only woman. I mean, I gotta put two and two together.
Read it.
Me?
You're holding up the flow of the action.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was any.
Will you please get on with it?
He could pray lovely. He was very fond of damson jam.
What am I supposed to make of that?
Make what you like of it.
This is an impossible part to play.
He certainly didn't find it so. Any more questions?
No questions, continue.
Right. The death of the hermit.
We haven't done the life yet.
First things first. Ready?
Go!
You are to imagine a hut.
Come then, fix your minds on it. We're not here to enjoy ourselves. Dimensions, 20 feet by 12, and 3-inch quartering of pitch pine, faced with 18-pound galvanized corrugated iron sheets. Outer door, fastened by a latch of the garden latrine pattern. Inner door, sacking. Compartments, 2 in number. Windows, 1 to each compartment. 1 foot square, glazed, dust-covered, cobwebbed. Furniture, 1 upturned barrel, 1 bunk bed. The corpse to be lies on the bunk bed, furthermost from the outer door, behind a curtain of sacking.
The date.
January the 17th, 1942. The weather, seasonable. The ground, snow-covered. The time, uncertain. Let us say 2 or 3. Let us say the dark hours, the dead hours. The time which seems not to be time at all, but wherein life can swing loose from its moorings and beat on blindly under its own weight. Wherein one can die discreetly.
The dead hours where we hang on by a
We've
thread.
mixed enough metaphors. Lights,
There is the hut, unseen in darkness, and the bed unseen in the hut, and the hermit unseen in the bed. Through the frost-covered, dust-covered, cobweb-covered window lies the hermit in his day clothes, night clothes, over his board bed covered with rags, with overall for cold comfort, the shell of an army greatcoat once long ago belonging to his tyrant fathers. The coat is rags, the father is bones, the son, the 84-year-old child lies lightly as a child, thin as a child lies guttering. Outside snow, silence, a screech owl on the wing. Inside, silence. The hermit, through the slits of his white eyes, through a last chink in a mind ceiling over, sees perhaps the shadows moving almost imperceptibly, caused by a candle moving in the tiny eddies of air, caused by his quick, light, stale breath. The candle dies first. A splutter, a leap of flame, a splutter, and out. The hut goes dark, but the hermit has forgotten the difference. Outside, a screech owl drips onto its prey. Inside, nothing has changed. Darkness to darkness, silence to silence. Only something is gone from the hut. The hermit is dead.
So is that it? Is that the end?
she's stupider than her sister.
As stupid.
Stupider.
Stupider. Ask what he died of. Who cares?
Ask, girl.
All right, what did he die?
Living.
The cause of death of the deceased may be taken as a first approximation as cardiac failure, following an extended exposure to temperatures of extreme cold while at an advanced age in a chronic state of malnourishment.
All the same to me.
Serves him right if he can't take a joke.
Surprisingly well as he did.
We're none of us perfect, you know. What is it? The manifestation of countless diseases and disorders, physical, mental, and psychosomatic, each one struggling for supremacy.
How true.
An exquisitely balanced system, interacting death.
That'll do.
The cure to all these disorders is death.
Thank you, perhaps a course of
The
lectures.
disease is life, the cure is death.
I said that'll do.
This is so boring. When is something gonna happen?
Do you want to see me naked?
To continue.
It's just no good. I don't feel this part.
Have patience.
I don't feel dead. I should feel dead now. Look, do you think I ever did it? Give me some motivation.
For dying.
No. I mean.
I don't understand you. The hermit lived in his hut for 40 years with probably not the least idea why you have to complain if you have to pretend to do the same thing for 5 minutes. Aren't you being a little unreasonable?
All I want is some background.
Born the 7th of June, 1857. Height, 5 feet, 7.5 inches.
No background.
What more do you want?
I want to know what I am, not my height.
My dear chap, my dear chap. Have you read Aristotle? St. Augustine,
What's it to do with you?
Kant,
Look here.
Schopenhauer, J.P. Sartre, Nigel Dennis.
Look, I am a simple man.
The problem of identity has been the popular topic of the intelligentsia for 2 millennia. They've all worked out dozens of solutions, all quite convincing. You'll find the library just down the road. They're all married alphabetical order. Pick the one you fancy.
You're deliberately misunderstanding me.
Very true. How perspicacious you are. Go back a few lines and we'll start again.
No, I need to know the sort of person I'm supposed to be.
Supposed to be? You mean it's a question of ethics?
You know damn well what I mean.
Of course. You want to be made aware of your identity. That's it, isn't it?
Yes, I
Naturally. You have a part to play, and you wish to know what is that part, and what is the essential you which is playing that part. So do they, of course. That's what they're all sitting there so patiently for. They're killing time until the great climax, the superb mushroom cloud of enlightenment that'll lighten up for a moment their pallid eyes, and even perhaps irradiate for a moment their rather pasty hearts. Oh, that's it, they want to be able to say, it being life. I don't know what they've been on about, but it's also true. Then they can go home and drink their bedtime cocoa full of hope for man's tomorrow.
All I want.
All they want, my dear chap. All we all want. Even that child over there, that sweet, sleeping creature, was asking the same question a moment ago. Not about you, but about her. In fact, she's still asking it now, as only when we are asleep does the question really come into its own. She looks peaceful, but only because she's not with us. She's running, helter-skelter, down endless avenues which run at the same speed in the opposite direction, tearing to shreds the face of a gorgeous painted butterfly while the tears stream down her cheeks, banging on the double doors of a giant bearded Abyssinian who refuses to notice her. It's very sad.
Would you come to the point?
Oh, what point? You wish to be made aware of your identity. That's it, isn't it? Very well. In what terms?
What the hell do you mean, term?
What I say, in what terms? Do you want your identity in terms physical, social, biological, biochemical, sociological, statistical, or mystical? Answer!
Look, I'm a straightforward actor.
The man's an idiot.
I didn't come here to be insulted.
I love these original turns of phrase. Didn't come here to be insulted. Exquisite.
Allow me to tell you!
Allow me to tell you this. The Roman Catholic Church, Brigitte Bardot, telepathy, and the fermentation of sugars all, my dear chap, have logical causes. So has your precious hermit.
I don't see your point.
There are obvious causes, my dear chap, and obscure ones. That's it. I don't understand what all the fuss is about.
I don't agree.
I don't give a damn whether you agree or not. I now propose to take a short rest. I've been going half an hour and I'm beginning to pale. You can address all further remarks to him. As far as I'm concerned, I've just made an exit.
Darling.
What?
Oh, it's you. I must have dozed off.
You want to watch that?
Why?
You might find your character will change.
About the same?
As what? Ah, you see? Suppose they changed your character while you were asleep, memories and all. And they know what you have to watch it, you see. You have to keep your reflexes going.
The late Herbert Wells, of whom you may have heard, had a similar conceit. How are we to know, said Wells, that God did not create the world together,